Now I'm going to sit there and pull, and I think I'm going to do with the legs, I think what I'm going to do there is I'm just going to actually pull it off the side here. So I'm going to create sort of an area up the side here like this on each side so that there's sort of a width between the legs. I'm going to actually have the knees come out here like this and kind of sort of a gawky, sort of bony knee sort of thing like this with a large calf. I'm going to pull it down here like this. But instead of having like normal feet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually try to create claws, sort of like here, like sort of bird claws, to kind of go with maybe the beak idea here. So I'm going to have like sort of one come up here, and then I'll have a big one over here, and then of course there'll be another one behind there. So I'm going to do that, and then that's going to be the reference point to what I want to start to build here. Now what I'm going to do is from the front. And again, notice I'm adjusting things as I go through it, but I'm trying to stay consistent. Here you can see that original ground plane, I've lowered it a little bit to make it better with the positions that I have here. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to place that sort of where the leg comes out of that shape right here. And I'm going to position those right about where I feel they're going to be over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show that in fact, those knees are actually kind of sticking out a bit so that we kind of get a bow effect here. I'm going to just sort of do this so you can kind of see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have that knee coming out into the camera sort of like this. I kind of treat the drawing. Now, I kind of sort of sometimes treat drawings like cameras because I've been dealing with animation for so many years. And I'm going to actually have it coming out like this into the knobby knee sort of effect that I have over here, and then coming back so that I can just see enough of the calf behind it. Knowing that I'm going to be reaching this point here, I have to get down to where the foot's going to be sort of coming out more than going in. Let me just get this in here like this. Get that high point. Again, I'm looking at this high point here, and I'm doing that. I'm going to actually have this claw here. I'm going to have claw here, and I'm going to claw here. And you can kind of see better in the 3/4 front perspective. And remember, we've talked about that again. Sort of 3/4 is always the best way to give you a multiple perspective in one drawing. So on this side, we can sort of see the effects of the 3/4 and how well it works from the front of what you wouldn't see from the side. Here, I'm going to do the same thing over here, pulling this back. I'm going to go back up here, get that first claw in here like this, go back to the heel. Oops, got to pull that down. Go back to the heel, up to the calf. Going to go for the other one that's a little bit more perspective, and then the one that goes over there like that, so that we start to have these feet. Now you can start to see that the alien really is starting to come together. Now we haven't dealt with textures or anything like that, but I'm going to get into that in a second. The other thing that I want to do here that I want to have is I want to be able to place the arms. So I'm going to create this spot that is just a little bit further back from where the holes are, but also at the same time, let me get this silhouette to work for me here so that I get that better. Because what I want to do here is I want to have these arms sort of just skinny, just like the leg arm, so that there's a similarity. I want them to come out like this, sort of come out where the elbow is into a large sort of Popeye forearms, which I think is kind of funny to do. And then thin out into where we're going to have the fingers, which are going to have, instead of normal fingers, they're going to have these suction cups at the end. And I'm going to show you in a second how I approach this. I'm going to just go ahead and draw these in here so we can at least see them. I'm putting little suction cups at the ends of each little finger, which is basically like a hose almost, so that we have that effect right there, as you can see. I'm going to pull out this thumb here, because we're going to talk a little bit about hands as well, just so you get an idea. Let me just get these last little fingers in here so that I can have them all. Little suction cups at the ends. Here's the other one, and then back. So now we have basically, I've pretty much roughed it in. There's only one thing that's missing that I think will really top off this alien. I think it'd be really funny if he had a tail. And so what I'm going to do is have a little, sort of a little funky sort of a tail that's going to come down here like this, and then come out with sort of a funny, shaggy little almost like a donkey tail at the very end, because I think it'd be kind of funny that if he was walking around, he had a little tail. So we're going to add that into it as something that's just sort of gives it a little bit of a balance and makes it kind of even a funnier one. Now, as for the eyes, since we know that we have these shapes that go inside of what I kind of imagine it to be a shell, sort of like a spherical, sort of like a crab shell. I think that that'd be kind of funny to see something coming out of there. You don't know quite where, you don't know what's inside there, but it's definitely a different texture than what's coming out of here, where the eyeballs sort of are more reminiscent of what you might see of the eyeballs of those little crabs that go along the beach.